I'm Josh Jacobs, CEO of Speakeasy Company, and our model is transforming brands into e-commerce companies, enabling you to own your own growth in an industry where historically brands have had to rely heavily on the second and third tier to scale. But with new brands popping up every day, you cannot sit back, produce great beer, wine, or spirits, and rely on these partners. But how do you grow in an environment where it's challenging to capture the mindshare of a traditional distributor? Then at the third tier, you're entirely removed from the end customer transaction in a bar, restaurant, or liquor store, where all you have is your bottle and label on a shelf or name on a menu, which is just not enough real estate to alter buying behavior. At Speakeasy, we believe the answer to unlocking faster growth, or at least part of it, is digital. Why are we so confident that the answer is digital? First, we have seen brands already successfully leverage digital to outpace peers. Then on a macro level, stepping back out of the alcohol industry, startups tend to launch online as opposed to retail, leveraging their social media, website, their entire digital presence to educate consumers, indoctrinate them into their brand, and ultimately convert them. This has been more challenging in the alcohol industry, which is why many brands continue to overlook digital, when it can be such a powerful tool. The 3 steps of scaling online we have laid out in our series are discovery, engagement, and conversion, which are feasible in the alcohol industry just like they are outside. In this video, we'll focus on step 1, discovery. The most exciting element of online is the reach, where you can touch more consumers than offline via ambassador programs or through your tasting room, even with a startup budget, and do so quickly. In this video, we will touch on the mediums you should be investing resources in. While our focus is discovery, these mediums are leveraged for engagement and conversion as well, and will be the foundation of your entire digital strategy. Starting with organic social media, a medium that often feels like an obligation, but it can be much more. By organic, I mean these are non-paid traditional posts across Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and other channels. Truth be told, it is partly an obligation since social media is the major tool to earn credibility. If a consumer hears about a brand, often the first thing they do is check social. Are the images professional? How many posts have there been? Is the content on brand? And of course, how many followers do you have? Put yourself in the shoes of your consumers. If you came across a new brand and went to their Instagram and saw they had 50 followers with a few random blurry images, you would likely go elsewhere. So first, it's about social proof, but it's also a great tool for discovery, not just posting pretty pictures. To increase visibility to your social accounts, first add links from your website to your social channels, as well as a link from your social pages back to your site is good practice, and to help with SEO, which we will touch on further momentarily. Following influencers in the space in the hopes one of your posts are reposted on their account is an effective strategy for stepwise growth in followers. Another strategy is liking an image posted by someone that appears to be interested in craft alcohol, which you can identify by their own posts, their hashtags, and also by looking at who has commented on a post from an influencer in the space. If someone has commented on a cocktail recipe by liquor.com, there's a decent chance they are interested in your brand as well. After you like an image, a significant percent of the time that user will check out your brand thereafter, and if interested, follow you, giving you a free medium to continue engaging with them. You now have a platform to share your story and over time alter consumer behavior, since your branding will be recognizable the next time the consumer is in a bar, restaurant, or liquor store. Organic social media offers a massive pool where you can increase brand awareness with no advertising costs, so you should be amassing a following. I will caution it's not all about the number of followers though, and I strongly dissuade against purchasing followers. It's about putting your brand out there to be discovered by the right consumers, who will hopefully purchase your product at the end of the day, love it, and talk about it with their friends and family. Make sure your social media following is growing, and most importantly, that engagement with likes, comments, and direct messages is growing in tandem. To facilitate this growth, re-engaging with users and responding to comments will be valuable, an effortful but worthwhile practice. A tool that many of our partners find useful is Hootsuite, which allows you to manage all of your social accounts in one place and schedule posts. Search engine optimization, also known as SEO, is the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to your websites through organic search engine results. Organic search engine results are Google, Yahoo, and Bing searches that drive traffic to your website, not the paid ads that sandwich the organic results on the top and bottom. SEO is comprised of many factors, including but not limited to links to and from your site, the quality and quantity of content on your site, which is where blogs come into play, other factors like load speeds, traffic, even your social media accounts, and much more. Ultimately, you'll want to work with a professional, study up on best practices to ensure your site is built correctly with tags and meta descriptions. It's definitely a front-loaded endeavor in terms of building your website correctly and having the ideal architecture, but there's also a continuous job. To keep your rankings high, continue to produce more content and invest into getting published to create more links to and from your site. If you have a tasting room, make sure to create pages on Google and Yelp to allow customers to easily find relevant information like address and hours, which will also help with SEO. Probably the most overlooked medium today in the alcohol industry is email marketing. Social media is one of the faces of your brand, so it should not come across too salesy or be full of advertisements. Email marketing will be your sales powerhouse, since it's free to reach out to your subscribers and it's acceptable to directly push products and be more salesy. Consumers will follow you on social media for cocktail recipes, pretty pictures, and interesting statistics, and then subscribe to your newsletter for longer content, new releases, discounts, and other reminders to purchase. We're about to transition into paid mediums, and at the end of the day, if someone visits your site, you want to do everything possible to capture their email address so you can maximize every dollar spent and hour invested across all digital efforts. Which brings us to the first of two key takeaways today. Add an email capture tool to your website right away to start building your distribution list. You can think through a newsletter and automated sales funnel thereafter, but start collecting emails everywhere, including out of the tasting room and during in-store samplings if possible. Another non-paid avenue to increase awareness is PR. From the Public Relations Society of America, PR is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics, which is a mouthful, but ultimately PR is another marketing tool and to get your name out there and help shape public perception. It's particularly important when trying to establish trust. Have you ever been on a site and highlighted or other trusted logos, and without even clicking on the articles, you instantly have more faith in the company since they've been touted by Forbes, New York Times, and the Rolling Stones? That's a perfect example of PR at work. And as a byproduct, PR also increases SEO since, as we discussed, SEO is largely based on content and links to your website. Transitioning to the paid side, the best bang for your buck is with retargeting. Statistics show it takes 7 to 9 impressions before making a sale, and you will not always capture the email address on the first website visit. Facebook retargeting allows you to advertise directly to those that have previously visited your site, so you can get back in front of them with targeted messaging to drive them back to your site. Have you ever viewed a product online, got distracted, or went to think it over, and then noticed it followed you around the internet until you purchased it? That's retargeting at work. Your largest driver of new impressions will be paid social media, which is also known as push marketing since you can push your brand to new consumers. The two primary mediums will be Facebook and Instagram, but depending on your brand and target demographics, you might also experiment with Pinterest, Twitter, and other platforms. While boosted posts fall under paid social, the meat of your budget should be driven from Facebook Ads Manager, where you have more control. You will be able to granularly target populations including age, gender, interests, and more. Another reason why email marketing is important is because you can upload known customers and create lookalike audiences where Facebook will leverage your customer list and their analytics to identify similar consumers. Pretty powerful, and some might say slightly scary. In Ads Manager, you will also have access to tons of data and key performance indicators, so you can identify which campaigns are successful and invest more in them. Facebook can assist, and their underlying algorithms will optimize towards certain events, maximizing your dollars by automatically adjusting to identify the most likely individuals to click, to follow, sign up, or buy depending on the campaign's objective. Just to clarify, it will still require active management. Another blocking and tackling channel is Google AdWords, also known as PPC or pay-per-click, which is the paid side of search engines. These are the sponsored ads on the top and bottom and side of Google searches, for instance. PPC is known as pull marketing since you're pulling those in who have already searched, not pushing your brand in front of a consumer. Very broad searches like craft gin or buy alcohol online are highly sought after since they have the most searches and, unsurprisingly, are therefore the most expensive. You'll want to bid, and that's a whole other conversation on how these ads are purchased, but you'll want to bid on brand terms, including your company name, product names for each of your SKUs, and slogans or any terms affiliated with your brand. This will ensure when someone is looking for you that they find you and not a competitor. If you have a tasting room, you might also want to bid on slightly broader terms that are geography specific. For instance, craft distillery in San Diego to help pull foot traffic to your local location. Lastly, I just want to call out the value of influencer campaigns. Just like logos and PR, you can leverage influencers to establish instant credibility. Telling consumers about your brand and that your juice is delicious is important, but having an influencer with a loyal following do the same will go much further. There are tons of blogs, review handles, podcasts, and more with followings that you can tap into. Influencers with hundreds of thousands or millions of followers will be expensive to work with and have broad audiences. But there are micro-influencers with targeted niche followings that will be more cost-effective and flexible with the design of your specific campaign, including commission-based plans as opposed to flat rates. When one of these micro-influencers posts about you or reviews your product, and hopefully it's positive, their loyal following will unquestionably investigate your brand further, gaining you followers, website visits, and thirsty new consumers looking to try your product. Underscoring all of the aforementioned efforts is tracking. The second key takeaway today is to ensure you have Google Analytics and the Facebook Pixel added to your website. Even if you will not be running ads anytime soon, start collecting the data now. It will pay dividends down the road. Thank you for your time, and please tune in to part 2 of our series. We will dive into step 2 of developing a digital presence that drives sales and focus on engagement. We'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation. You can reach me directly at josh@speakeasyco.com and find out more on speakeasyco.com.